It's Pasquale.
Dr. Tracy.
So today we're here to talk about the most amazing topic of empaths in relationships. It's totally a headline. I see it like on the news.
But
empaths in relationships.
But you could like intro pretty much any topic and try to make it sound like really exciting. Like jazz hands.
This is real exciting. Because relationships is the number one thing that people are always either asking about, wanting, have issue, like relationships, right? It's a big thing.
It's a lot more difficult for empaths, I think, because, generally speaking, of course, and all of this will be all of the information given will be on, we're talking very generally and kind of what's common or stereotypical.
What we see.
Right, exactly. So, with that said, it's a lot of times with empaths, just in our nature, we're more givers, right? So naturally, we're usually more attracted to the people we can fix.
People in need.
People in need, yeah. People that we can help, I just thought of the phrase, Captain Save-A-Ho.
I don't even know what that is.
You've never heard that
no.
phrase?
I'm a lot younger than you.
That would be for like men who like would get like the woman that needed, helping, saving. Yeah.
Oh, like
and they
Lancelot
would
syndrome?
And they would call him, I guess Lancelot, Captain Save-A-Ho, whatever works.
I never heard that one. We're going to jazz hands that one.
Okay, sorry. So anyway, but just by nature, we're attracted to people that need help in some way. And this could be friends, this could be partners, pretty much anything. And so, but also the difficult part is the people who are generally attracted to empaths are usually people who are, this sounds, kind of blatant and may sound rude, but like users. Generally speaking, there's users in this world, and there's users and takers, and then there's givers and helpers. And so, and those two find their way to each other, beautifully. It's like a perfect match.
Well, it's a team.
Right.
I mean, if you really think about it, you're completing each other.
Right, exactly. And, although it is unhealthy, codependent, can be toxic, it is, and it creates an unequal relationship where, one person might have more control, power, authority over the other person, and it just keeps the other person down and kind of codependent and things like that. And so it is one-sided, and it is toxic. And, ideally the most healthy relationship for an empath would be to find more of an equal. But that could seem very uncomfortable at first.
It's hard. And so I will, because again, we're talking in generalities, but I think that there's a few different factors in it, right? I think that an empath who goes into a relationship without clearing the energy of what they're picking up is prone to fall into that trap. Right. Like, I think that's the key.
Well, what I'm talking about, if we could back up, and I should have prefaced this, it's like, we're talking about people who haven't done the work, on kind of feeling, and managing, being able to manage that. And so most of us are just going about our day-to-day life on a very unconscious level. And it's just what we're attracted to, and that's it. And, it's like, well, what is, there could be a list of, 50 reasons why you shouldn't be with this person or even be friends with this person. And then you go, but they're fun, but I love them. But, and that one thing, and it's like, it's this unexplainable attraction.
You can't build a relationship on fun.
Right. And actually that's, this is debate.
That's another topic that we'll talk about next time. But I think it's important
But even the love part, my point, like, doesn't make sense, because you have to analyze if that's really love or like more of like an obsession, passion, something else. It's like, because we're attracted to things that aren't necessarily good for us. And I don't think most of us don't take the time to really process that and realize what is happening, you know?
I totally agree. But I think it's important to kind of, because I do see that you want to go into a relationship with someone who is more equal and someone who's kind of connecting to you, right? But a common theme that I've seen, especially with intuitive people, is that the intuitive person is so up here that they need someone more stabilizing. And sometimes that is the person who kind of fits that user characteristic, right? And I think sometimes it can fall that way, right?
Okay.
And so, like, to me, it's like, I want to just kind of preface by saying, like, if you're in, like, on a date, and you're on this date, and we're having fun, and you're laughing, and you're starting to pick up their energy, right? Which is outside of who you are. So, like, I'm feeling this extra passion, and I'm normally a pretty chill person, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you can be like, okay, I'm picking up someone else's energy, and you push it away, right? Mm-hmm. If you do that, you're going to be more in tune to what that person is really like.
Okay.
Right? Like, you'll start to, like, level it out. Right. So it's not, I'm looking at the person speaking to the person.
Right.
Right.
So it's like you're kind of preventing transference from happening.
Exactly. Because the minute that you don't acknowledge that energy,
right,
that person is your world.
Right.
Right. And
because
you're almost feel it, you know it, because you're taking it.
Right. You're almost projecting what you want onto this other person,
which is why you don't see the signs.
Right. Oh, right? That's a really good point.
And so that's why, like, I have to say, like, you have to, like, just let it go for a second. Yeah. What are you really seeing?
That's true, because a lot of times, especially, you know, on that, you know, on those beginning dates, you get so caught up in just the excitement that you might have somebody who, you know, has a job and doesn't live with their parents, that you're like,
yeah.
No offense.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that's the stereotype. I know there's reasons. Don't hate me.
It's true. True.
But you know, I mean, like, you get so excited, you know, and then it spins, you know.
Yeah. Or it could even be like, you know, you're so excited because the person that you're going on a date with is opening the door for you and, like, letting you sit. And you start to like that, and you start to feel that, but you're not noticing that they just drank the whole bar. And then they're stumbling out because you're so excited because they held the door for you. And that energy, I know it sounds very one-sided, but if you really pull yourself back, it's a common theme.
Oh, yes, I know.
With empaths. I mean, it's just a fact, right? You fall into the passion of it that you don't see the signs of it, right?
But that's a really good point, because, like, we talk a lot about, you know, attaching to the more painful emotions, like, you know, the anger or anxiety or things like that, or, you know, sadness and grief, but you don't think of it in the other way. So just as much as you can, you know, attach to that and make it your own and kind of roll into that, you can roll into it, like, with excitement and happiness and fun and joy and things like that. So that's not necessarily healthy. It feels good, but long term, it's not healthy.
Yeah, who doesn't want to feel loved?
Right.
I mean, I do. You do. I mean, my dogs do. Everyone wants to feel loved, right? But, like, don't miss the signs after, right? Like, there's other things that always can kind of come. And I think that's just part of an empath being in a relationship. Recognize those things, right?
And so I think it's really important for empaths to just make sure that you're in, like, a mutually, respectful relationship.
Even exchange of energy.
The giving, that's a good way to say it. And, you know, and when I say equals, it doesn't have to look the same. You can give in different ways. You know, you can receive in different ways. It doesn't have to, you know, so when I talk about equal, I just mean, like, making sure that you're both helping each other in some way.
Yeah.
Right. Even, you know, one could be, you know, financially, another could be, you know, emotionally, or, you know, or one is, like, physically there and one can help more on an emotional level, or, you know.
You know, it's completing the picture, right? Yeah. And completing the picture means we work together as a team,
right,
to make things happen.
Yeah.
Right. That's how you know it's a mutually beneficial relationship. Mm-hmm. If you're always doing everything, that's energetically not going to feel good.
And well, we kind of trick ourselves into, because we are getting something out of it, because our goal, our intention is to be helpful. Yes. Right. And so it's a little bit of a mind tease.
Yes.
So for lack of a better phrase.
Well, again, but remember, we all want to be in love.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And like that's our first vibration is love.
But right? I think we should qualify that with, I want to be in love with the right person.
That's what you need to
or
be
with
adding
a healthy
to the
partner,
intention, right?
Right? Because if we just say I want to be in love, that's where we leave ourselves open to, filling that void with the wrong person for us.
100%. But that's where the intention comes in, right?
Right.
Like, I will tell you as an empath, every time I went on a date, I always made it a point to set my intention before I went on the date, right? And that doesn't mean that my intention isn't, oh, we're going to go have fun and we're going to go to the movies and like, no. That's not the intention. That's like an agenda.
Right.
The intention is I'm hoping to meet someone who's kind, loving, and is willing to be a partner to me. Someone
yes.
who's equal to me. Someone who
right.
wants to share their life with me so that I can share mine with them. Like setting that type of intention, you have a better chance of walking in with less of that empathic rumbling happening.
Right. And this would even be for friendships.
And relationship is
right.
anything.
Yeah. So, and I think it's important to, brain. I had a topic on my mind, totally went blank.
So as you're thinking of that topic, we're going to segue. I want to... What was that saying you said?
Man, I know,
What was that saying? Captain Kirk and...
Captain Kirk?
And
Captain Save-A-Ho.
Save-A-Ho. I knew it was something.
Kirk and the...
I don't know.
Oh my God.
It goes back to... I had an experience this morning. Someone had a Captain Kirk on their phone at the gym.
For women, they call it the underdog syndrome.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. Where we're always picking like the underdog to kind of like,
Oh, save them.
We want to clean them up and, bathe them and...
I mean, another thing to kind of put out there is also to recognize that as an empath, you will typically get people be attracted to you because of who you are. I find that to happen all the time. Right. Where I'm just like, no, I'm just a normal person. Just sitting here. But like they just like to so just kind of recognize that.
Right.
Sometimes people are drawn to you because you can heal them.
It's important to choose the people we have in our circle.
Yes, choice is the key.
So a lot of times whoever comes in, we accept.
Yeah.
And that's not always healthy. So we have to be a little bit more discerning and, be assessing our needs as well as theirs, and this doesn't mean that we don't give, but we should, at least in the beginning, until we really know a person and understand their intentions, is just kind of like hold back on the giving a little bit and just kind of like wait and see, kind of like spare it out in a sense, because a lot of times in the beginning we'll just be like, what do you need? What do you want? Oh, I'll help you. I'll drop everything. I'll do this. I'll do that. You need, a phone call. I'm here, and it's because we like that. And that is our natural,
love language.
Right. And so, but that can then all of a sudden they're taking a lot. We're now already invested in this relationship and have emotions for this person. And then all of a sudden when we're in need a year later, it's crickets. So, and then that pain is a really intense pain.
Agreed.
And it makes us feel just very alone. Like it's kind of devastating because you think about everything that you did for this person. And then now like the one time you need somebody and like there's, they're not there or no one's there.
I will say I agree. I think within reason, right? Mm-hmm. Like I always use the example of, if someone falls in front of me at the grocery store, I'm not going to step over them and say, oh, I need that can. I'm going to help them.
Well, That's not what I'm talking about.
But I'm using that as obviously an extreme example. But I use it as an extreme because I think there's a reality, right?
Right.
I'm someone who will always, like, if I see someone who is doing, like, not doing well, right? Like, I see them crying. Mm-hmm. I will always be the person that walks up to them and says, hey.
But there's
okay?
a lot of users and takers where everything is an emergency, everything is a need, because
that's where you draw the line.
Because it's their need. Yes. And so, of course, and I guess if that needed to be clarified, I'm glad you clarified that, because of course, if somebody is in extreme need, maybe they, you know, lost a loved one, or like they, you know, they're going through something where they're having, you know, depression or something, you know, whatever it is, like, yes, if they're in extreme need, like, yes, be there for them, but it's because that becomes not about them. That's a testament of who you are. So regardless of what they do or don't do for you, you would still be there for them anyway. So that doesn't really take from you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I'm not sacrificing a piece of my soul and self-respect and value for, you know, to do that, because I'm doing that because that's who I am. I'm talking about, like, you know, it could be the
person that calls you and only calls you when they need
I need
something.
a ride. I need money. Can you help me with this? Or, you know, you're on the phone every night for hours talking to them about, like, something that they're going through,
their job.
Right. And then they don't make any changes, and, you know, can you come over, and, you know, you're cooking for them, you're, you know, crying with them, you're, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been there. Like, it's, you know, and this really does, these are the types of people I think this is common. It would be interesting to hear from anybody else out there, to, like, how, if this is common, because I feel like I don't think that's an extreme example of what is attracted to us.
No, I actually have a real life example. So
I have a lot. I like it a lot.
But I do. Like, I will say that I had made a new friend.
Oh,
I know.
That's so sweet.
I know, not that kind of friend, just a friend. And you know, we were, my partner and I, we were all together, and we're, like, just having fun talking and whatever. Mm-hmm. And the friend mentioned that they had just gone through a breakup. And my first reaction as an empath was, oh, I need to make sure they're okay.
Right.
What can I do? Right. Like, what, I want to be available and supportive of them. Right. Like, like, all these things crossed my mind. And I just said to myself, wait a second. I am picking up that person's sadness. It's not mine to deal with.
Yeah.
Nope, I'm pulling back. And I pulled back, right? And I left it. And I left it because a relationship should be built on the interaction, not the help.
Right. That's very true. That's actually a perfect example too, and which creates another good point of, like, sometimes it's not always their fault. You know, even if they are more of a taker in the relationship, a lot of times we voluntarily put it out there, and they'll even say, you know, if this ever comes down to an argument, they're like, I never asked you for anything. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of thing. And it's like, because we offered. And so that's a really good point, because a lot of times we'll offer the help before other people even ask. And I do that too now. I didn't realize I did that until you said that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I do that because you want to wait. I don't need to offer it. I want to see what, like, if they ask me for help, I mean, hands down, I'm there, you know, but I want, like, they need to take responsibility for where they're at and ask for that help, or even start talking about it.
Yeah.
So that's a good point. Thank you.
Like, cause I mean, not everyone knows what I do, right? I'm sure not everyone knows what you do, but the minute they know what you do, it's like,
yep. I don't tell anybody.
I don't either.
My answer is, if I told you, I'd have to kill you.
I just smile. What do you do? I don't know. What do you do?
Yeah.
But it just, because the minute they find out, right? Like, it's like, it's an instant opening to it. So I don't in the beginning, because I want whatever I'm there to create. It's about me, the person, connecting with that other person and developing a friendship, relationship, whatever. Right.
And not about what we can do for them.
Yeah.
Or how we can help them. So
yeah.
Hopefully these tips help. Again, I'm curious to, share your experiences with it. And if you have any other tips that, things to be aware of.
We would love to hear it.
Yes.
You should let us know. And our next episode is going to be about empaths and how to work within the relationship. Like, what does an empath do when they're in a relationship?
I'm like, what is our next topic? Okay, that'll be good.
You don't get a choice.
Guess not. All right.
So until next time.
Bye.